Thanks. It's great for being here. Thanks for you all to be here at the end of the day. It must be tough to digest so much data. My name is Christian van Maaren. I'm one of the founders of the Access Materials Exchange, and I would like to use my 7 minutes to share with you how our platform can help with the sourcing and selling of more circular construction materials and have it depend a little bit less on coincidence. We are a startup. We've been around now for about a year and a half, and we love to describe ourselves as a dating site for secondary materials, where we actively match supply and demand and materials with technologies that can make those materials available to society again in a high value way. You can think about it as a facilitated marketplace or maybe a waste brokerage, but we like the term dating site for secondary materials. It's more sexy, I think. So we bring together suppliers of excess materials, buyers, and also any what we call value-added providers to make transactions possible. Why do we do this, and why is it important for construction? We see that the construction sector generates 30% of all the waste, and only 2% of that is recycled or reused, and that the volume of it is growing enormously in the next few years. And also, and it's been mentioned before in the previous presentation, that a lot of it ends up either under or on roads. And with our platform, we aim to change that. And how do we do that? We have a suite of digital tools. We have what we call a resources passport. So we give waste streams an identity. We store that using blockchain. We enable various track and trace technologies to sort of connect the digital twin with real live assets, and for that we use RFID chips, or we make use of RFID chip technologies, NFC chips, barcodes, and QR codes. And we also quantify the financial and non-financial value of excess material flow, so the environmental impact of potential transactions. We are assisted by a growing number of artificial intelligence powered tools to help in the matchmaking, and we work cross-sector. And this is sort of how the platform looks like right now. So it sort of delineates what products are, what you can do with them, etc. And the cross-sector aspect of it is quite important. Zooming into one example to make it a little bit more tangible: carpet waste. 1.6 million of it is produced every year, and only 2% of it gets recycled. And the reason that we see is that it misses that identity. Carpet waste is thrown in the carpet container, and because of that, the good carpet, if you want to call it that, don't get the chance to be recycled again. And if we look at that, and this is sort of what the platform looks like on the back end, and it's kind of scary and confusing, but that's what the circular economy is. It requires lots of interactions. Carpets consist of usually 7 materials, and if you look at those materials, if you can separate them successfully, which one of our clients can, you can service all these industries, just to illustrate how important it is to have that cross-industry approach. Because you will be able to find much more high-value uses for it. And also a little bit easier. It requires less added energy or manipulations to make it reusable again. And we've done this for railroad tracks. I really like that, using railroad tracks as construction beams. Also using mostly synthetic fibers in old clothing for carpets. Using the railroad ties, or the sleepers I think they're called, as walls, but also as anti-terrorist blocks, which is also kind of a fun example. And also just reusing the materials like ceiling elements, facades, and also just wood, just reusing them again in the same function, which of course is the best way to deal with materials. And we've done this for many more materials in the year and a half that we've been around. 18 so far, weighing a total of 70,000 tons a year, 7 Eiffel Towers. And with that, we've generated quite an impact that also surprised us. Just to go through it quickly, a financial impact of between 11 and 35 million euros per year, on top of a saving of 5.5 million euros to process those waste in the current situation. But also a potential energy use. Some of the matches still have to be realized. And potential energy use saving that you could power the 3 biggest cities of the Netherlands with for 5 years. The public lighting of it, so the light lampposts basically, for 5 years. But also a saving of CO2 emissions equal to 850,000 car rides from Amsterdam to Copenhagen, which is basically the whole city of Amsterdam driving to Copenhagen. And if you look at water use, equal to 11 million Dutch people, the water use of 11 million people per year. So the impact of these 18 materials that we looked at, weighing 70,000 tons, is huge. And we've done this with these companies, working together also with Copper 8 and Alba. And Copper 8 has been here before presenting, you may have seen it. And yeah, looking forward as well to invite you to become part of our platform and be part of this dating site and finding new high value matches for materials. Thanks.